Now the top of the cap, as you can see, the sides of the cap is actually, okay, first thing on the list are these mechanics gloves here. Now you can, you're going to have clips on the ends here. Now usually what happens is I usually use the CAMO review. What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Camomeleon. What's going on, guys? First and foremost, right off the bat, man, respect the hat, baby. That's right, Camomeleon, Bitty Boo Brown. Mwah, love you, Mom. This video is kind of in response and a little late, if you will. A few months ago, around the October time frame, August-October time frame, I got the privilege of meeting a lot of really cool people through the Google chats and Skype. And if you don't know already, I am an avid hammocker. Living in Arizona, I don't really get those opportunities to hang hammocks unless it's in a park where there's actual trees that they place there, or I go up north to hang in the forest and the mountains up there. But I happened to run across a really cool dude. His name is Frogger M3. I will put a link to his page below. Frogger M3, what's up, boy? He heard that I was a hammocker, and in a couple of his videos I noticed that he was also a person that hung hammocks also. So we had a common interest. And one of the questions that Frogger asked me was, Frogger wanted to know what my hammock setup was. What was my day hammock setup? What was my backpacking setup? And he had a number of different questions and stuff like that. So, Frogger, I'm going to do you a favor, bud. I do apologize for the lateness of this video, but life happens and shit happens even worse. But I'm here, I'm doing it. I've actually recorded a lot of the other video, the detailed video, months ago. So what I'm going to do now is show you guys my day hammock setup. So basically when I go on a day hike and I know that there's a possibility for trees to be somewhere for me to actually hang from, I carry this kit with me, this hammock kit with me, which is very light, very simple. Of course, when I go into detail with it, you guys are going to be like, this is not simple at all. That's mostly because you don't understand it. So if you take the time to look into it and check out the link. So what I'm going to do is, as I describe this stuff, so it's going to be a multi-part series. Basically my day hammock setup. And I'm going to break it down into the different sections of the setup. It's actually a really simple setup, but it's been customized for me. Now what I do want to say is that this hammock setup that I'm about to show you guys is not something I'm pushing on to anybody out there right now who is a hammocker, who is looking into being hammocks, or somebody who has no clue what a hammock is. I'm not pushing anything on you guys. I'm simply showing you something that I have that works for me, and I'm going to give you the full details, all the links, all the companies. I'm going to show you how, how the setup is made. There's some custom suspensions that I have going on. You'll hear some terminology in there. I don't go into too much detail about explaining the terminology to you, but I do give you an idea of what those types of things actually do with their purposes in the hammock setup itself. So, Frogger M3, here's your video, brother. This is Camomeleon's day hiking setup. All the time, every time. Let's get to it, y'all. Alright guys, so this is it. This is the entire day hammock setup. This entire setup here comes in at a whopping 1.8 pounds. So it's relatively light, almost 2 pounds, not very heavy at all, which is also the equivalency of 28.91 ounces. So what we want to do is we're going to break down each one of the components of this. and give you a little bit of detail on each one of those sections. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first component of my day hammock hike kit, or setup if you will, is the Nano 7 Grand Trunk Hammock. Now some of you may not know what Nano 7 Grand Trunk Hammock is. If you've heard of Grand Trunk, you know they make hammocks. But they also make this Nano 7, which is a very lightweight and compactable hammock. If you don't know who these guys are, you want to go to grandtrunkgoods.com and look for the Nano 7 product, and it'll give you a lot of details of it. Now I'm going to break down all the details. I'm going to give you enough so that you can make a decision whether you want to go check it out or not. This entire hammock itself comes in at almost 70 bucks, about $69.99. Now, what I'm about to show you inside of this hammock is not what came from Grand Trunk. This is a custom setup that I had to make myself for what I actually wanted for the hammock. When you go to purchase this hammock from Grand Trunk, you get the Grand Trunk hammock, which actually comes with this stuff sack. The stuff sack is actually sewed to the hammock. So when you take the hammock out, this guy's going to sit on the side and you can put your wallet in it, your keys, or whatever. But I'll show you that when we do the actual setup of the video. This hammock comes in from Grand Trunk with a thicker rope setup and some carabiners on the end. Now I personally didn't like that setup, so I changed the inside of it and changed everything out to Amsteel suspension and whoopee sling suspensions, but I'll also get into that a little later. This entire setup comes in at 7.4 ounces. The hammock itself is at 9 feet by 4 feet wide, and it has a total capacity of 300 pounds. Now it only comes in one color, which is gray, and like I said before, the stuff sack that you see that it's sitting in is actually sewed to the hammock and attached with it, so you don't ever lose a stuff sack from the hammock itself. It has triple stitched seams, and it's made of 1.7 ounce ripstop nylon. Now, some positives about this hammock right off the bat is that it's lightweight. Obviously, 7.4 ounces, this is very light. It's compact, as you can see. I mean, basically, it fits in my hand. Very compact. And it's relatively durable. I've probably had this hammock for probably 4 years now, counting, and I've used it in a lot of different scenarios. And I've only had to sew the stuff sack onto the bag once, and that was because after the course of 4 years, it just started to thread away because it's such thin material. It just started to thread away, and that was just a matter of my boy Olin Tad just sewing it right back to me, so now it's good as new. Some of the cons about this hammock. If you are a tall person, a rather lengthy person, or a larger person, by larger I mean 300-400 pounds, obviously you probably don't want this hammock. Mostly because it's not very wide. It's a narrow hammock, so for you wider people, wider hangers, I'm not very small myself, and it's actually quite perfect for me. I'm at 250 pounds, and it's a perfect hammock for me. For you tall guys, you 6-foot guys, this may not be a good hammock for you because it's just a smaller hammock and it's just not made for taller people. So it may be uncomfortable to you, then again, it may be perfect for you. That's completely up to you. So let's take this hammock out of here and let me tell you a little bit about the suspension, the custom suspension that actually my good friend Terry_Dotson, y'all go check his YouTube page out, actually did for me, and let's see what that all entails. It's your boy,